What's up, everybody? It's your boy Simon from Siphon CGG, and welcome to the first episode of This Pod's on Me. If you don't know if that's a play on word, you are in the wrong place. But if you get what that name means, you are in the right place. Thank you guys for coming to the first episode, and I am so glad to grace your presence once again in a new content form. I know for a while I have been teasing a podcast. I actually did record 2 episodes of a podcast about a month and a half ago. But unfortunately, my software decided it was not going to render it, and I have permanently lost those files. And that version of the podcast was aiming to be super duper educational, which I think is fine. But I think there's a lot of those out, and I do want to be able to stick out from the rest of the podcast in some form. So I'll try to do my best to do that, but I'm not really going to talk your guys' heads off in this portion. We're going to get to the meat of the podcast, which is going to be reviewing not only my tournament report from US Nats, but talking about the weekend in general, all the tournaments. And we'll go and start with myself here. Hi, I am Isaac Stanley. If you guys seen a large African American male with a camera walking around Nats, that was indeed me. I know a lot of you guys said hi. I actually met a lot of people that didn't know about the channel and chose to subscribe once they got some information. The love I've gotten this weekend has been just absolutely wonderful, and I don't want to say life-changing because it's not like I went from like 30 to like 2,000. It was just the fact that like people just seen me recording my match or just walking around, and it just piqued their interest, and they just had to say, hey man, do you record, do you stream, or whatever, and it was just, I remember just walking around with a big smile, like, after day 1, I think I gained, like, 11 subscribers just in the first day, and, again, for all you guys can't, thank you guys enough, but I will openly tell you guys, my weekend, when it comes to results, was not fantastic. So, the way my weekend actually started, I believe, was a Thursday. Went to an armory. Could have been Friday, I don't 100% remember, but no, it was a Thursday, I apologize. It was an armory at the Mighty Meeps. There should be the live stream up on the channel soon of that competition. Played Switch Bolton there to a 3-1 record. Did have to leave the last round. Actually was going to face one of my teammates. He asked, hey, can you give me the win? I gave him a hard time, but I ended up giving it to him, but we did go 3-1. Deck felt super clean to play. I was somewhat satisfied with my list. So the way we had my list tuned up, I didn't actually get to workshop with many teammates. Most of the ideas I had were my own or from other people's lists, like Josh Lyles. So at the Battle Hard in Columbus, that you guys don't know I went to, it was a very heavy ice meta, and ice ruled the world. And that is what a lot of us thought Nats would be, a very, very heavy ice meta. So I tuned my deck to be able to fight against it. So I added, obviously, the Raiden build and tuning for Icelander. I added 4 blues, I believe, to my deck. It might have been 5. I did shave on a knee pot and a time stop potion, but it was to add other cards to the deck that could block and be blues. But overall, I also did add more no rune, obviously because of Icelander. One card I will openly tell you guys was gas this week, and I'll go ahead and talk about this ahead of time, was Rusted Relic. Oh my gosh, Rusted Relic is gas. I do gotta thank Nathaniel Crawford from the Card Guys for that tech. For Icelander, he put in his Briar, and I actually just was like, I'll try it out, see how it works out in my Bolton, and it performed very, very well for me. So, like I said, did good in the armory. We did a few games of playtesting at the house. I actually didn't get a lot. I was more of the cleaning and organizing side and talk, and in the theory, I didn't actually do that much gameplay. I will say this, the first day that we got there, literally within 10 minutes, I already got an argument with someone. So there was 6 of us, but there was 3 beds. and a few of us were a little bit larger. So I immediately played a game versus someone else to get a single bed. Unfortunately, lost. Never got to combo out, but the weekend already didn't start off well. But going into the actual tournament itself, the first day we came was Friday. We only played in side events, so we did not qualify for nationals, unfortunately. Hopefully next year we do. But we played in a couple CC events. Unfortunately, I made a very, very big deck building error, and it is going to haunt me for a while. So going into the round 1 of the CC side event, right before that I was playtesting against a friend of mine that was playing Bravo. And I was going to try a card in there to hedge against the Olderman Bravos, just in case there were a large amount there. Because I tuned my deck mostly towards Icelander to try at least to get myself some more percentage points in that matchup. Because it was already like a 5 or 10%. I was trying to see if I can get myself to like a 20 or 25 and see if my skill could help me get there. And I tried out Shunt. It is the block 6. If it's in a weapon, deal 1 to them. Cost 1. I really truthfully thought that that card could actually help me get some chip damage in the matchup and cleanly block like a hammer or a Anthos swinging from Bravo or a sledge if for some reason the Oldham's on sledge. Truthfully, I thought that it was going to be a good thing in the matchup. Fortunately, I never actually had to play it versus when I played my friend on Bravo, so it never actually came up. As well as when the tournament actually started, I forgot to de-sideboard. So I was going into Briar, right? A matchup I believe I'm supposed to race in. Yeah, I had a bunch of D-reacts, and the biggest one being Shunt. So first few turns happen. I'm charging. Playing against this girl, she's getting some damage in. She set up her turn. So I finally have Beacon of Victory and Arsenal, Luminar Ascension, and a Beacon of Victory. I have I want to say 5 or 6 cards in so I don't remember the exact amount. But I'm chilling. I'm like, okay. All I gotta do is survive, eventually draw my double, my charge card. The game is over. She's not surviving triple Lumina. Unfortunately, I draw Shunt, and I draw Sink Below. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I can block a decent amount of damage with this. This is going to look good. Maybe I can even give up the one of the cards so I can block a Shunt. What I didn't see coming, my opponent had a Channel Mount Heroic there, but I didn't care at the time. She goes, Nimblism? And I'm like, okay. She goes, Exude for 10? And I was just like, oh. And this had go again, because she made a Embodiment of Lightning at the end of the last turn. She goes Exude for 10. I look at my hand of 2 D-Reacts, 2 combo pieces, combo piece in the arsenal. And I just sigh. And I openly show her I have 2 D-Reacts in my hand, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm just kicking myself, and I told her, I was like, I literally put in Shunt last minute to go against Guardians, and I forgot to decide. She's like, oh no, you didn't actually mean to have that in. I was like, heck no, I didn't mean to have this in. This is so bad against you. I'm pretty sure it might be bad in general. She's like, oh, well, I am sorry. And I was like, yeah, I am too. So that hits me for 10. I try to at least eat that damage. Then I forget what she plays. Then she goes Snatch for 8. I don't know if it was I think it might have been a Bramble Spark. I don't 100% remember. It was something. I just remember Snatch was coming in for 8. And I'm just sitting here just going like, oh my lord, I'm actually dead. So I actually take it. Funny enough, she doesn't actually attack me anymore that turn. And I'm just like, phew, okay. We're okay. Channel, however, does go away. We're doing alright. So all I do is I pitch Shunt to attack with sabers. She goes, no blocks. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm dead, ain't I? She's like, well, we're going to try. And I end up blocking with my whole hand. I just say, F it, I'll give up the arsenal. If I just draw another combo piece and a charge card, I can still at least combo for 2. That's fine. So I pass it back to her. Lo and behold, I draw another Lumina Ascension, 2 charge cards, and a Sink Below. And I'm thinking, alright, we're in a good spot here. We're a little bit low in life, but we're good. Yeah, opponent just decides to just like have another like almost 20 damage turn. To the point where like I have to block or I'm going to die. So unfortunately, that was another turn where I did not get the combo off. I was alright. I still have 1 combo piece in hand. Just need to draw back up. Hope I can survive one more turn. Maybe block with just a card and live at just at 1. Even at 1, I'll take it. Opponent just decides to have like another busted turn. I end up blocking out my whole entire hand to prevent myself from dying. And we lost that game, unfortunately. And it kind of made me sad. Because there was 2 points in that game where I actually drew shunt. Where it was the most unnecessary. And I kind of just lost that game. I absolutely blame myself for that. I had no reason to do something like that. And we learned. We definitely learned. Actually, I'm trying to remember the rest of the tournament. Well, that one specifically. The issue is, it's just been a minute. So I believe the next round I play against Katsu. Yes, I believe I play against Katsu, and it's just the issue that Katsu just doesn't really work right now. I was able to pretty much handily win. From my memory, I did obviously combo out. And it's Katsu. He says, well, I guess I'll give him my hand and still take damage, and then just, I don't really know how to explain this really. The one thing I was just nervous about is getting Kadachi locked. But I never even got close to getting Kadachi locked, which is like the only thing way I think he could have beat me. I did have a sick turn. I believe this is from memory. I could be wrong. Obviously, the video will be out, and if I'm misremembering this, that's fine. I believe I go 2 Cataclysms. No, I believe I go Luminous Ascension. Pitch the Bone and give it go again. It hits. Celestial Cataclysm, Sabers. Some turn like that. It was like a 17 damage turn that came right after my combo. And Katsu just cannot really suppress that. The other 2 rounds, I don't really remember, to be honest. I believe one was an Odom, and one was a Icelander, which both of those I do not feel like I'm favored into. But that was the first match. I was a little discouraged, went 1-3. I was like, okay, get that out of my memory. I actually ended up playing a Sild. It was my first time ever playing Sild. I don't know if I would do it again. Like, in the moment, I would definitely say I had fun playing Sild. But there's just something. Let me try to rephrase this, right? Would I go out of my way to play Sild? If someone said, hey, you want to sit down and play Sild with me? The answer would almost always be no. Now, if it's for a competitive event and I gotta play Sild, dude, I'll practice Sild all day if I have to. There's just something about the randomness that I just don't rock with. And that's not to say that people that like Sild are bad. It's just Sild is not for me. But I was in the Dromai seat for Sild, and it was a trip. I will say this: whenever I do play Limited, I usually always like to play Dromai, even though Icelander is my favorite hero out of the 3. It's always because I somehow always get the exact build of a tank Dromai. I get all the Sigil protections, whether it's draft or sealed, all the life gain, all the defensive cards, and I somehow always get like 6 or 7 or 8 the Embers. I don't know how I do it, but it happens every time, and my opponents are always just uber frustrated about it, and that part does bring a smile to my face, seeing my opponents get frustrated. Hi, why have I attacked you 17 times and dealt 1 damage, and somehow you're at 47 and you start at 20? What's going on here? But but yeah, it's we went 3-1, or no, we went 2-2 rather. I'm sorry. We were 2-1 and we faced the only undefeated team in the pod, and both my teammates on my side lost, so I knew there was no longer pressure. I kind of just said, all right, we'll just play this the rest of this for fun. My Fi opponent, I was actually kind of close to decking him out. Actually, that was actually the strategy I built the deck for, was to deck out Fi, and I think he had like 5 or 6 cards left, so all I needed to do was last couple turn cycles. The one thing I didn't do is I didn't pay attention to his pitch stack. He had a Spreading Flames in his pitch stack, and like 2 Blaze Headlongs. Yeah, there's there's not much I can do there. He just played better than I did, and that's what all I gotta accept. So then after that, I believe my day was done. There, I don't believe I played another event. No, I did not. So going into day 2 of the actual calling, here's where I can't. It just makes me laugh. And obviously, like I said, if you guys have watched the matches, which they should be up on YouTube at some point this week or next week. So I played Bolton. I played Switch Bolton during the calling. I just can't stop laughing because it's just like the first couple rounds were just ridiculous. So I play against Iceland round 1, and I'm like, oh, of course I face Iceland. Iceland is not the most represented deck, but of course, I'm at the edge of the table every single round, so because I'm filming. I look across from me, it's nothing but aggro decks next to me. And I'm like, well, whatever. I faced the one Icelander at the table, whatever. Play the match. Obviously, I am not super familiar with playing the Raiden build. I've primarily only ever played combo. And I actually got him all the way down to 1. And it frustrated me at the time, like during the game, but obviously if anyone's ever played me, I'm always super chill, cracking jokes, it's all good. You would never tell if I'm frustrated or not. But on the inside, I was just like, dude, how am I playing Raiden Bolton? A terrible hero, by the way. Raiden only gets you to maybe like a 20 or 30% chance to win, and I still think you have to play phenomenally in the Icelander, just have to mess up at one point. Getting him down to 1 frustrated me, but I was like, okay, this actually is kind of good. There was probably something I can do. There is some way I can improve my deck to get those points back, right? There has to be something I can do that to get that last point. Like there could have been maybe attacking with a 3-power attack instead of a 2-power attack, even though I just wanted the on-hit effect. It could have been pitching a card to play this other card. Like there had to be something, right? Maybe when I play my victory, maybe actually just banishing one more card. Because a lot of times I've rolled back how much I banish my Beacon of Victory because I always want to save them for my Celestial Cataclysms and stuff. Maybe just banishing more on that, and I win that game. Who actually knows? But I played a very, very fair game into Icelander and almost won. So I started off 0-1. Losing round 1 is usually always the worst thing, but it's all good. My spirits weren't down. All I gotta do is win out, and I can probably still make day 2. Round 2. I sit across. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. It's a bunch of aggro decks. I'm probably facing like a Fire or Viscera or something. Nope. Only Icelander at the table again. Round 2, I face another Icelander. And I know for a literal fact I was baby raging on the inside. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. 2 rounds in a row, I faced the only Icelander at the table. Again, worst matchup. Makes it worse. I believe I got this Icelander to 3 or 1. It might have been 1 again. But I got them sub 5. And yet again, on the outside, you would never see that I was frustrated. I'm cracking jokes. Well, on the inside, I'm like, dude, 2 rounds in a row, I get my opponent sub 5, can't kill him, and it's probably one of my worst, if not the worst matchup. But again, if you want to look at the positive side, it gives me a lot of footage to look at and to see where I can improve in that matchup, and maybe I could start winning, or maybe consistently getting out in 5. Because the few games I played versus Icelander online, they were not close, but in paper they were pretty close, so there's something I can do, definitely. Round 3, I face Odom, and I'm like, alright, it's not an Icelander, but of course it's fucking Odom. And this Odom smartly went Rampart against me and not Stalagmite. No, I used to think the opposite. I used to think Stalagmite was the smarter play, but now I am fully on the train that Rampart is good. It's only because I open and close the chain like a lot, and it's definitely understandable um why I lost there. I didn't play a single Lumina Ascension. Yep, did not play a single one. I played the most fair Bolton game possible, and again, this will be on the channel. I didn't play any tricks, there were no treats, there was no silly rabbits. I played the most stock standard, honest face-up game of Bolton in my life. And yet again, got my opponent sub 5-8, god dang it. Sub 5 life. And god, man, it is just... I don't know how many of you guys have went to big events that are watching this, but one of the most frustrating things, it's a sign of a good game. The games are supposed to be close. But it's a game where it's close, but you actually didn't get to do anything. Like, if I would have played a Lumen Ascension and gotten that, I'm like, I just couldn't get there. It's unfortunate. But it's this whole fact, I played so freaking honest. Like, I don't know another way to say this. I played so cleanly. And just to get him down to 3, never combo off once, because that means I didn't gain a single point of life. It hurts. Like, he even had a really good pitch stack. It was just the fact that, like, I played a lot of the Odom matchup, and I felt like I knew my way to navigate that matchup. Is every time I practiced it, I got to combo off, and then play post combo. That was the thing I practiced most going in on this tournament, was playing post combo. One thing I wanted to try to do, but obviously, like, I don't know if it's a practical way to play test. I would have to look into it more. Was set my opponent to an arbitrary amount of life, arbitrary amount of cards in deck, and then combo off, quote unquote, and then play post combo. Because I think that's like the hardest thing about Bolton. Is pre Bolton, you can literally have a flow chart of block with 2 cards, charge 2 cards with 2 cards, block with 2 cards, charge 2 cards. Maybe one of those turns you just so you can have an arsenal. You pitch a card, swing with sabers. But yeah, you can get yourself to very refined play patterns, right? But playing post combo is so frustrating because you're like, okay, I just gained 12 life, my opponent just lost 25. My opponent's at 16 or something, I'm at 30. There's no way I lose this, right? And a lot of times you'll find yourself losing those games. And I really am, I am happy that I know I improved post combo, because I pretty much play the game as if it was post combo, right? And if I combo off that game and then play the game normally, I think that game is won 10 times out of 10. That game is like the easiest game ever. But we lost. Better player won. Next we had round 4. I don't actually I'm trying to remember what my opponent was on. I want to say Icelander, but that doesn't feel right. I'm actually brainstorming, get right back to you. Let me turn around, clap around. Okay, cool. Still don't remember. I just remember round 4 is where I did get my first win. We were finally on the board. We were at 1-3. Our tournament's pretty much over. Our tournament was pretty much over after round 2, actually. Obviously, I played through all the rounds. Again, couldn't tell you what my opponent was on. I just do remember I did combo out and win. Round 5, again, wash. Don't remember what my opponent's on. Round 6, I do remember, because this was a bad game. Round 6, I'm facing Viscerai. I think it's actually the first aggro I'm against. And me and him both played extremely sloppy. Missing rune chant triggers, damage was weird. I'm pretty sure we might have miscalculated damage. It was sloppy. I think I was partially mental boomed at the time. Again, I will always, at least on the outside, act the same, like you'll never tell I'm tilted, but I can tell you I was definitely mental boomed at the time. But we ended up getting the victory over Viscerai. Round 7, I got pimpity popped by 5. There's literally nothing I can say. He absolutely clapped me. So 5 was a matchup pre-tournament that I was actually pretty confident in. I didn't think they would be fast enough to kill me. because at least most of the flies I went to belittle seem to lose a lot of, like, lose a turn or two in kill potential. No, no, just like I predicted, Fies, even with a belittle, are still just doing like way too much damage. It's kind of insane. The thing is, there's not much analysis against the Fi matchup, at least in this one. He kind of just clapped me, and there's sort of nothing I can do. I kind of just have to take on the bunny as as soon as someone says, I don't know what the bunny is, right? I don't know what it is, but I had to take it on the bunny. So going into the next thing that we did, we played another CC Plus event. This one, however, was not kind to me whatsoever. The rest of the events actually were not kind to me. This was overall a pretty bad weekend when it comes to results. But almost every other aspect this weekend was great. So for the CC Plus event, I actually borrowed my friend's Dorinthia deck. Alright, so let me get her, hold on a second. Okay, I was actually clicked and looked at my results and I was like, I won that match, I forgot. I'll explain something later. So round one, I'm playing Dorinthia. I face... Ooh, god dang it. This is awkward. Oh, I face Rhinar. Now, hey, this is the classic battles, however. But the issue is, I have exactly 2 Dorinthia games under my belt in paper at this point in time. And this Rhinar has been playing Rhinar for 2 years. You can probably guess how this match went. I rarely had a hand. I poked him for very little damage. The only time I dealt damage is when he felt like taking 3 but doing 20. It's like, he said, as long as I can do 20, I'll take the 3. That's fine with me. And I was like, you know what? That's a deal I'm willing to sign up for. I kind of wish I didn't sign up for that deal. But all I can say about the match was super ugly. It was bad. Next, round 2, I don't exactly remember my opponent was on. I'll be completely honest with you. I just don't remember. Round 3, I actually faced one of my teammates, Caleb, who dropped out of Nats. Unfortunately, lost his win in for day 2. He actually faced my Bolton combo deck, and I had like a 25-point lead. I was at 36. He was like in the teens, but he was setting up for his combo. So he finally combos off, and I'm like, you know what, Caleb, have fun. And he's like, what? I was like, have fun. So he combos me out. And he takes me exactly from, no, I was at 35, I'm sorry. And all of the sabers were coming 5. And I knew my bracers, my arm piece, could have blocked exactly 1. So I let him hit me every single time, and I blocked the final time, so I got down to exactly 1. So it was 1 to 12. And I was going to see, from there, can I win? I'll just kind of give myself a little bit of a challenge. Short answer, no. It was actually very close still. I was actually close to decking him out, which was a strategy that I pivoted to, like, I want to say the last 6 turns maybe. And if I would have done it sooner, I probably could have won that match through fatigue. But in all seriousness, when Bolton goes to combo, don't just take 34 damage. Don't ever take, unless you're like 60. Just don't take 34 damage. There's no reason to ever do that unless you're trolling. But don't troll. Round 4. So I actually lost the game, but my opponent was 1-2 at the time, and to get any sort of prizing, you had to have at least 2 wins. So he sits down, tells me his record. I'm like, all right, you win this game, you have 1. And he was like, oh, cool, you want to play it out for fun still? And I was like, sure. So he gets the win. I scoop. I give him the win. Then we play the game. It was Dorinthia vs Icelander. Now this match, I actually did deck him out. So but the really sad part is, and unfortunately that video will not be up on YouTube because my phone died. I got him down to like 1 or like 2 or something, and I was still in the 20s. But for like 6 turns in a row, he could exactly full block me, and I couldn't pump over. So like if I would be like down blade for 5, he would be like block for 7. I could only pump it to exactly 7 or lower. I'd be like, haha, swing for 8. He'd be like, block exactly 8 with my hand. Ah, I don't have a pump. Alright, let's try this again. Block for 3. He's like, block for 9. I'm like, oh, cool. My hand exactly pumps to 9. And it's just, it was like the funniest thing ever. Because we actually had a big crowd around us of like a bunch of people watching, and everyone was just like cracking up. I was too. It wasn't even, it didn't make me mad. I was just like, dude, what's going on? Why am I, why am I exactly able to pump exactly what he's blocking? I think the most tilting turn was one of his hands was 3 2 blocks and a knee pot, and I still couldn't kill him because all I had to do was 1 damage, and I physically couldn't pump high enough to do it. It was a fucking trip, dude. I'm not gonna lie. But there was that event. Last event we actually played was a Blitz event. Now this is my first time ever playing Blitz. And first round I faced Briar. Now I'm like, ooh, I've actually never seen Blitz Briar. I don't know how it's played or anything. He was on somewhat of a mixed package of Earth and Lightning, obviously. He absolutely blows me out. I actually play Icelander for this event. It's my first time ever actually playing Icelander in a rated event, weirdly enough, as long as I've had the deck. I think I get to get him like to like 4 health. I want to say I don't remember if those matches were recorded. I don't remember. I don't believe they were. But I get him to like 4. He gives me some tips on Icelander and Blitz. He actually didn't know I was Pummel Icelander. So how this event actually started, I assumed it was CC, because it was just a constructed voucher. I wasn't thinking. I got told, hey, it's Blitz. I'm like, oh. I've never played a single Blitz game in my life. But hey, let's just play Blitz tournament. So I condensed some Icelander to Blitz. Obviously, it's not Pummelander. It's straight, clean CC Icelander condensed down to Blitz. And all my games were actually close. But going into this round, I told my opponent, I was like, I'm going to be honest, this is my first ever game of Blitz. I don't really know what I'm doing. I just converted my CC deck down and I'm playing. He won. No feelings hurt there. Round 2. I'm trying to think round 2. Was it? I feel like it was an Icelander mirror. Give me one second while I think. I want to say it was an Icelander mirror. Yeah, it was an Icelander mirror. And he, oh yeah, it was an Icelander. He went first. And just tempoed me out. It was close. I got him down to 4 again. He just killed me. All is good. Round 3. No, I'm thinking of a side event. I'm so sorry. An additional Blitz game I play. I play one more Blitz game after this tournament. It was not that. This was against Phi. And I probably did one of the coolest things I've ever done. This play was obvious to me. But, again, a lot of people don't know the minutia of Icelander. That was the word minutia, by the way. Minutia. So, he's doing this random Phi turn. He's already hit me for like 10 or so. I'm at like 4. And I have 2 cards in hand and then red Ice Bolt and Arsenal. So I pitched a Storm. So he's going attacks, gets me down to like 4. He goes trigger Mask, and I was just like, oh, Mask of the Poundlings to be specific, by the way. I'm like, oh crap, yeah, yeah, sure, search with Mask. And he's like, okay. He searches with Mask. He gets Lava Burst. Lava Burst kills me because I only have 2 cards in hand. And I think one was an exposed to the elements or something. Yeah, one was an exposed to the elements, which I regret putting in the deck. So he 100% kills me here. He goes, I put Lava Burst and Banish. And I was like, sure. Activate Storm Striders. He's like, okay. I was like, Ice Bolt you, trigger Icelander, give you a Frostbite. He's like, sure. Play Lava Burst. I'm like, no, you're taxed. He's like, oh, I don't get my Lava Burst back. It stays in Banish. I'm like, exactly. Now, in the middle of this, I did call a judge, because I just wanted to confer that we were still in the resolution step. I assumed we were, but again, I always just want to make sure. But yeah, so what I did is, after the Master resolves in resolution step, priority does need to get passed in resolution step. So once I gained priority, it was a little bit of a loose play, but I popped Storm Striders to give him a Frostbite. Also, I mean, I dealt damage, but the damage didn't matter. It was just the fact that he couldn't play Lava Burst, and it was stuck in his arsenal. Really nice play. But obviously, he 5'd the heck out of me. Round 3, you face a Kasai. Kasai was probably one of the blitz decks I really wanted to lean towards. And Kasai got there. We was actually surrounded by a big group of people during this whole entire match. It's like I just finished comboing out. Well, not comboing, but comboing to stop a turn. It's like 2 to 3. Um, we go to her turn. Big, mind you, big crowd. And I'm sitting there just cracking jokes, fanning through my cards. Everyone's just goofing around. Everyone sees, oh, he has a card in Arsenal. Oh my gosh, he has a card in Arsenal. This could be literally anything. I think the Assigner gets it here. So she's like getting a little nervous. She's like looking at her cards in the tank. She plays a card, and I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm going to play this exposed. Oh, no, I had 3 cards there. I'm sorry. 3 cards. But 1 card couldn't block. And I had no ice card I could play to disrupt your turn. So I'm like, she goes like, attack with sabers for game. And I'm like, alright. I was like, alright, everyone. Here's what you guys have been waiting for. Here's why you play Icelander. I'm going to play exposed to the elements. I'm going to fuse it. I'm going to target myself. And she's like, what? I said, yeah, I'm going to target myself with exposed to the elements. Targeting my Tunic. Unfortunately, Tunic cannot be. Tunic is not a legal target. Spell fizzles. Bam. And she's like, oh, I win? I was like, yeah. I kind of just gave her the win, like in a really funny way. Everyone at the table was just cracking up and stuff, like everyone's and the crowd surrounding. And it's what I'm here to do. I'm here to entertain people. And I would hope everyone watching and playing did get entertained by that match. Round 4, I sit down at my table. My opponent sits down like 5 minutes after a round starts. I'm looking at him evilly. I'm like, is your name Dylan? He's like, yeah. Oh, well, thanks for being late. He was like, oh, sorry, dude, sorry. I was like, yo, know what happens when you're late? And he's like, whoa, dude, chill. And I was like, you get the fucking win, you win. And I shook his hand and I cracked a big smile. He's like, oh, dude. He's like, I thought you were actually mad. I'm like, nah, dude, you get the win, man. My people are leaving. You got it, man. And he's like, oh, thanks, man, thanks. And like we chat for like a second, and then I end up leaving with my people. And that was my weekend when it comes to at least playing. So overall, not a great weekend when it comes to playing. Results were not what we were looking for. I don't want to say like I'm hurt at all. Like I didn't expect a day 2 or anything. It just would have been really nice to. It was just the fact that it genuinely felt like my decks kind of failed me once we actually got to the menu. But all in all, dude, I learned a whole lot, and I think some of those losses have really big takeaways that I actually really look forward to diving into later on the line. So, brush aside. Now, when it comes to things non playing, first of all, venue was absolutely nice. The setup was clean, really big venue, space at almost every single table. Shout out to all the judges that let me get nothing but in tables throughout the whole entire tournament. You guys know who you are, the judges I talked to. You guys are amazing. Prize wall, absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, I didn't get anything with prize wall. I ended up selling my tickets. Actually, no, I didn't even sell my ticket. I gave my tickets to a guy for free because he asked. Which, that was one of the funnier things. So it's like the last day. I'm sitting at one of the tables with my friends, and there's a guy saying, hey, there's a guy looking wanting a Katsu poster. He needs like 100 tickets or so. And I was like, you know what, dude? I'll go sell him. I don't care. So I go up there. I was like, all right, which one of you jabronis wanted the Katsu poster? He was like, oh, it was me, but I got the tickets. I was like, oh, well, that's awkward. He's like, well, do you have the tickets? And I was like, yeah. He was like, would you give them to me for free? And I was like, yeah, sure. There you go. I'll be a blessing to someone else. And then literally out of the movie, like half the people in the crowd say, "Oh," and like clap like this, and I'm like, guys, it's just 100 tickets, dude. We're chill out. I mean, the tickets equate to about $10, but even still, it was just. I ain't gonna lie, I was cheesing on the way back. Like I said, I wasn't intending on trying to like get attention or be like, wow, look at this guy, just gave his tickets away for free. What a guy. No, I I just wanted to be a blessing to someone else. He asked. I had no better thing for him. I decided right then and there to give it to him. And I got rewarded for it by getting some clappage. I wish I would have got that on camera, actually. But going back to the footage, I got so much footage this weekend. It was absolutely amazing. The only thing that kind of makes me upset, and hopefully I will get this changed soon. I believe you just need 50 subscribers to be able to live stream. I actually had to stream my other channel, and a lot of people subscribed. I believe I got 128%. What the heck is that on my screen? um, okay, I'm sorry, I'm laughing. You guys can see this is off the cuff, man. I'm just having a good time. Uh, but yeah, I got 120%. I'm actually going to check the percentage right now. Yeah, 120% subscribers over the last week. I gained almost 20 subscribers, and that is just amazing. So like, how I gained most of them was like, I would sit at the table, I would set up my equipment, and I would just introduce myself. I would obviously ask them for their consent to be on stream and stuff like that. Like, I don't just say I'm filming you, buddy. Like that does not happen. But people are like, oh, well, you stream, man? Would you stream on Twitch or something? I'm like, yeah. And they would ask me for my channel and stuff. I'd give them my channel. And a lot of people would subscribe right then and there. Some people would write it down. It was great. There would be people that like I would go to the restroom or I'd just be chilling because I would be walking around. They're like, "Oh, are you the guy that's streaming?" And I was like, "Yeah, get it done." I think probably one of the best ones. I was actually ran into someone that like watched my channel already, and it was like the weirdest acid trip I've ever been a part of. Yeah, so I'm just walking to the bathroom. He's like, "Wait, hey, are you Siphon?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh yeah. I've watched a few of your videos, dude. I watched a few of your videos. You're really funny." And I was just like, "Oh, well." I would say the weird part is most of my videos aren't intended to be funny. I might have a funny personality, but most of the videos were there to be like at least somewhat educational. But even still, like I appreciate the compliment. I wouldn't be lying to say if I didn't appreciate that compliment. And just the fact that someone there watched my video and then recognized me, like that's so weird. Like if I had like even 2,000 subscribers and someone said, "Oh yeah, watch a few of your videos," and I was like, you know what, makes sense. I have 2,000 subscribers. Right now, I have 40, and someone recognized me. That's just absolutely crazy to me, man. And I appreciate all the love I got this weekend. Got to meet some of the boys I haven't talked to since Columbus. Got to meet up with Sam Dardo again, Levi, Yanji. I think who else I'll talk to. I got to Easton gave me a head nod. One of the best ones, and the person I'm referring to in this video knows who they are. They know who they are, and they know how disappointed I am in them, but also kind of thankful. So I have a friend that knows Joshua Lau from the Card Guys. And Joshua Lau is one of the reasons that I play Bolton. He truly is. I am the claim the People's Bolton, but really, if anyone's the People's Bolton, he is the People's Bolton. Like it's not even close, right? This person says, "Hey, I'm gonna make sure you meet Joshua Lau," and I'm like, "Please no. I would prefer not to. I don't know what I'm gonna say, right?" It's because at this point in time, like I don't see myself as a peer to most of these people. I see myself as like I'm still more of a fan than a peer, right? And they're like, no, you're gonna go over fears, you're gonna face them. I'm like, no, I'm not. So I see Joshua Lau multiple times throughout the whole entire event. I even go out of my way to walk past him, not say a single word, don't even look his direction. Finally, on the last day, in the middle, between rounds 2 and 3 of the Blitz tournament, or round 3 and 4 maybe, I don't remember which one. But I, I look at him and I play this off just absolutely masterfully because like I obviously like I know who he is, but like I have to like I I just can't stop laughing. I walk up like slowly. I take like 2 steps. I look up, look back, and then I look up like I'm shocked. I'm like, wait, Joshua Lau? He's like, yep, that's me. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, hey. It's finally good. I wanted to meet you. I watch all your videos. I'm a fan. He was like, oh, thanks, man. And then I was like, hey, if you don't mind me, I would like to ask you a few questions about Bolton. And I tell him like how Bolton's been probably some of the most fun I've ever had with a hero, and I've been playing it and all that stuff, and I've been enjoying it. And I asked him for some a few tips with Bolton, and he said, we're staying there for like maybe 10 minutes. We're actually both late to our next round, but he's like breaking down some Bolton stuff to me and giving me some stuff about Bolton that I really appreciated. By the way, there was a lot of stuff about Bolton I just wasn't thinking about, and we had a really nice conversation. And he was also one of the people that was in that crowd. He was like kind of watching from my point of view. I actually kind of wish I would have played Bolton during the event. It would have been just that much nicer. But the funny thing was, after the whole entire event, right as soon as everyone's packing up, it's Bree Bree, for you guys don't know, the judge, one of the probably the best judges you'll ever meet. Bree Bree on Discord goes like, I'm walking from the prize wall. Josh is right behind me. Like I know he's there. He probably knows I'm there, but I'm just walking because I do have to get back to my people. I talked to Bree Bree. I was like, hey, sucks that we couldn't hang out this weekend. Um, because Bree Bree is my mentor. I'm actually getting on a call later today as of recording. Bree was gonna be teaching me some judging stuff, but I walk past. I'm like, hold on, I have something for you to meet. Hi, Joshua. This is Isaac, and he's a fan of yours, and I wanted you to meet. Josh was like, oh yeah, I already talked to him. And I was like, yeah, we already talked. And I was like, why are you trying to set me up like that? It was just a good time. It was a good time. Um, it was it was just getting to meet a lot of people. It was nice. The one person I didn't get to talk to was Michael Hamilton. Now I need to talk to Michael to talk to someone else because I have a friend in my play group that keeps talking about how he beat Michael Hamilton at the 10K in Columbus, and I need Michael Hamilton to knock him down a few notches. Oh, did get to talk to Ryan Rich. Ryan Rich is actually not local, but he's in Toledo. I played when he's in Magic, and then a few of these Flesh and Blood events. I've talked to him a little bit. Good guy. Me and him were clowning someone else. It was a great time. I mean, he wasn't clowning, but I was clowning because he was saying exactly the thing that I was saying. But there was so much love this weekend. The vibe, the energy was amazing. Oh, I also got some bling. I got some foils. I finally got foil flake outs signed by Flake. Also got them signed by DM Armada. Speaking of those two also kind of made my weekend. They were doing some fun stuff. So between rounds, they would walk around with a sign that says, "Let's make a trade." They would sit down. They would have like cards or like an object, and they would ask, "All right, what is your guys' trade?" So the first time it happens, and obviously there should be a dedicated video just to this, by the way. They walk around with two metal tokens, two blue ones. They're the special edition or limited edition rather. Long story short, this random guy puts like 5 cards on the table. I get my friend Michael because I know my friend Michael got some good stuff. He offers a code foil Ashwing token and a code foil Pierce Reality. Well then, there's like a third person that comes in. So Armada and Flake have an idea to split them into two separate piles, and each person gets one. Well then, one of my friends just randomly, and I really don't know how he did it. I don't know how he did it. Says here's a Ramble Foil Shuko. Armada's like, it's signed. I assume he just needed the Shuko because the value on the Shuko was less than the Code for Ashwing token and the Fresh Reality. But it wasn't about the most money, it was about what's the best trade. So he gets one. So now there's one left. Another friend of mine, I actually, no, here's what I said. I was like, alright, before the guy got the Ramble Foil Shuko, I'm like, Armada, because they're here for a Code Full Marvel Icelander. I'm like, if I give you one, do I get both? And he was like, oh, that's intriguing. That's intriguing. I think he might have to get both because that's the reason that they're there for, right? But I'm just thinking about it. Then my friend, I was like, Wayne, you want to get in this? My friend Wayne. He gives up a code foil Rampart. So now they're like, oh, maybe he gets both. Then finally, the Rainbow Force Shuko gets in. Guy gets it. Now there's one left. Then a third friend of mine comes over. It's pretty much half of our team is coming in and doing this. Gives up 3 Erase Face, a foil slash a Sandacar, a foil Glacial Horns, and like, here's where it gets trippy. The cold foil Kano promo that we get, he gave up to get one of these resource tokens. I'm not going to say I blame him or anything because it was really nice. Actually got to be a picture. I assume it's on Armada's Twitter. I'll look at it later. I'm pretty sure just giving him the 3 Erase Faces, he would have gotten it. You throw in the 2 cold foils that are worth like $5. You know what? You're in there. To then also give up cold foil Kano that's exclusive to the event is not something I personally would have done. Now, this is the same person that also offered a cold foil Icelander that's like $80 more than the Kano. So maybe I'm not allowed to speak here. I will say this. We do know Armada is a Kano player. So, getting a cold foil Kano, maybe. I wonder if he actually could have got it just with that. I actually truthfully do wonder. But it was the vibe. The vibes were amazing, man. Now they did it again. Now this time they actually were offering erase faces and the foils and a bunch of foil flake outs. And they said, well, what do people want to give up? Me? Part of me feels like I could have given up something different, but like I wanted just to ensure that I got some, right? I gave up 2 promo Brother in Arms, and I forget what the third thing was. What was the third thing? It was some other like, oh, it was a pre-release promo, Helios Might, and I got 3 foil flake outs signed by Armada and Flake, and to me those are priceless, right? I don't care that I don't have the promo Brother in Arms anymore. I don't care that I don't have the pre-release promo of Helios Might. 2 probably my favorite content creators I have signature cards signed by, and that's no one else has that, right? I mean, people probably do, but like, there's a trillion Brothers in Arms promos. There's a trillion Heroes Might. How many foil flakeouts are signed? I'd probably say less than 100. So that was absolutely amazing. Again, that should be a video on the channel at some point. Kind of going into non-tournament stuff as far as Charlotte itself went. I went to a few good restaurants. The restaurant we went to on the day before we left, I cannot remember my name, but it was like a kind of like a B-dubs kind of place. It was absolutely fantastic. The food in Charlotte was absolutely amazing. It was my first time ever actually being in Charlotte, and I wish I could go back. The vibes were amazing. There was a bunch of street performers, street food. That's something I've never had either. I've always wanted to try street food because I see people like in those big food trucks. I'm like, there was a big line for those for a reason. Like, what am I missing out on? Fortunately, I could not get any because we ate and then they were out there, so I was like, kind of didn't make sense. Let's see, the Airbnb that we were at, absolutely amazing. The only downside to the Airbnb is there was a couple of us were bigger fellas, and the table was very, very like weak, and the chairs were very wobbly. So like at any moment, I felt like one of the smaller chairs because it was big chairs, small chairs. If one of us sat in the small chairs, they would just collapse within like seconds of us sitting on there. But everything else was absolutely gorgeous, and I I really would just want to go back, man. I do. As far as what's next, to be honest, I don't know. I have a few things that are coming up. I'm moving in November, so a lot of money is going to be allocated towards moving. I possibly have a Magic the Gathering event that I am going to in DreamHack Atlanta, the regionals. My friend's qualified, but there is a 20K there, and I was going to be his testing partner. And again, because how tight money is going to be, I may not be able to do that. And then, really, when it comes to Magic the Gathering, there's Magic the Gathering, Flesh and Blood. There's a 10K at Realm Games later in October. There's a 1K October 2nd that I'm actually judging that one. But there's not a lot for me to do outside of locals and then random events as far as like big competition goes. It's really just going to be that 10K that we are going for. I think November is Worlds, and that might be it for the year. At least so far as events I can travel to. Obviously, national season's over, so there's not going to be any RTNs. ProQuest season, I believe, is in the middle of next year. Hopefully it's not like Blitz or something again. I mean, maybe I might be more open to playing Blitz than now that I've actually played it and think it's not that bad. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But guys, I appreciate you guys coming and watching this. This is the first episode. I really didn't know how I wanted to take this, and if you guys made it this far, please comment down below with your feedback. Tell me if you enjoyed it, didn't enjoy it, what you guys would like to change. It's been your boy Cy from Siphon TCG, and this has been episode 1 of This Pod's With Me. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.